Every story starts with a territory, origin, a place where we come from, our culture, people that are surrounding us, our family. So I come from Alsace, I come from Strasbourg, hence the stork, even there's also one actually Estonians. And Alsace is important because it was a place torn between wars between France and Germany, and this dictated a lot my life, my future life. These are my children. I'm very proud of showing my children this evening. But I'm showing them to their embarrassment because each year they would ask me when they're smaller, before they were going to school, my head teacher is asking, "Hey, Daddy, what are you doing actually in life?" And I had problems actually identifying. The same with my mother, until the day I met Nana Mouskouri when she was a member of the European Parliament, the Council, and my mother still asking me, "How is Nana Mouskouri?" She thinks I work for the music industry and work for Nana Mouskouri. And the idea of this talk is actually to explain what I'm doing and try to do it in 400 seconds. So indeed it's a story of a trained lawyer which went into policy design. And why into policy design? Because at one stage in your life you are trying to find some kind of meanings or sense in what you are doing. And the idea was here in this context to find meaning in something I was closely related to, and it's come back to my origin in Strasbourg, the European Union. And I always find the European Union an extraordinary project where trying to unite people from different nationalities, different backgrounds. And the more you travel, the more you realize how this is a great project, even if today it's very much put into question. Now, my big chance was to work in the music industry a few years ago, and at the time when you were talking about cultural industries, sociologists would say, yes, it's typically product of capitalism, which entertain people and make them more stupid. But I discovered something else about the cultural industries in relation to developing revolution with famous bands. I also found out that Europe was very active in the cultural sector, even if it was saying that actually European Union has no formal competence in culture, but in fact 80% of regulation affecting the artistic sector and the cultural sector is actually originating from Brussels. And that is in a kind of midlife crisis. When I was 38, I decided to create a company who would be devoted to actually represent the interests of this industry, which was extremely powerful, but actually marginalized in policy making, and try to do this as a business in the context of the European Union. Indeed, the cultural industries and art have many more implications than simply attracting tourists or giving some work to artists. And most of the cities today recognize the economic importance of the sector in relation to education, economic promotion, trade, creative spillover. Unfortunately, the Brussels bureaucracy doesn't see culture in the same angle and still marginalize in policy making this important industry, whilst it is actually, in terms of size, as big as the information and communication technology. And so the whole context is actually to show how much this industry contributes. And the value of KIA, the society I set up, and is actually to show this impact in terms of innovation, in terms of showing that culture is not only the consequence of economic activities, but actually the cause of market development, social development, and so on. In my activities, we decided also to get into the Chinese market because in 2008, the Chinese decided to develop a creative economy, and they very often look to Europe as an example of a very creative society supporting cultural, art management, cultural organization. And it's actually in China that I was giving the term that I will be using later as policy designer. And policy designer is about proposing regulations that would enable or enhance the position of artists, artistic organization to the regulator, whether in Europe, at policy level, and so on. One of the issues that the art sector has been confronted with over the last year is to actually show its impact. Now there is a financial crisis. How much money, why would you spend money on culture while you should spend money on health? And we did some impact assessment for MONS 2015 recently. Our impact also has been to try to get the sector that is very marginalized, very small, to work together and work in a kind of more united front in order to be able to wait on policy development and the need of getting together across policy sectors to have more influence. Obviously, working with artists is a key aspect in the work, as the artists have a different perception of life. They have a way of disrupting our traditional views of thinking, and hence this extraordinary kind of way of raising empathy, beauty, happiness, as can have impact on policy making. In the same way, in showing that culture is important in terms of policy cohesion, social cohesion, we are trying to highlight this specificity of the cultural sector in policy making. What is important is that cognitive revolution starts from 70,000 years ago, when the Homo sapiens invented, in fact, culture. And the idea is to show that culture is transformative, transformative to society, transformative to the European project. And in relation to the points I've been learning or trying to pass on, is to show that this transformative power can have enormous impact on the economy, on social level, in terms of creating solidarity and empathy, especially in the context of the European project. And this is my last slides to do a bit of publicity on a book that we are going to publish in March to coincide with the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome, which is to show how much culture impacted on policy development at EU level. I just realized that 4,000 seconds is very short.